Now, how do people generally, though, and this is what Tamron dealt with one time.
And that's why we're talking about it. So, who decides what is appropriate for your child to read? That answer is dividing communities, putting the careers of librarians on the line, and causing...
Well, like I told you, I was given, a book about vampirism, right, that talked about a woman in Europe who would get young virgins just to bathe in their blood. Because she believed that would make her look young, right? Like a vampire, right? I know. Okay, now, me, this is how I saw it. That fucked up. I would never do that to a woman, even if it was to make me look young, right? That's crazy. That's how I saw that shit, right? As a child involved, Mom, right? I know. I knew there was something wrong with that, right? You didn't have to intervene on my behalf, right? Right. By the way, I appreciate it, though, right? I know what you're trying to do, but, right. See, I'm trying to learn why humans are so fascinated with this idea of drinking blood, right? Not wanting to do it, right? Right.
Virginia became a New York Times bestseller and was one of
But like they say, you can kind of tell if someone's seriously gay, right? When they're a child too, right? You can also tell if someone's trying to accuse you, Chris Dumkowski, right, of being gay when they were already asleep and you come into the bedroom late at night yourself, right? See, some boys don't know what a wet dream is yet, right? They're not paying attention in school, right? That's different too. I got to see how so many people in the world were also going through the same things and hadn't yet been healed from those. Now, this is called a live commentary or a live critique of what Tamron's saying, even if I'm agreeing or disagreeing with her, right? That's why it's a legal situation under fair use, right? I've heard of book banning too, and I'm agreeing that banning a book ain't gonna mean your child can't be exposed to certain things anyway. Now, most people who go gay, they say they felt that way all their life, right? I never felt gay. I liked little girls as a little boy. I mean, I was kissing girls. Right. Now, most of the boys think the girls got the cooties, right? I wasn't thinking that as a child, right? I was different. You were differently. I liked little girls sexually, I think. I was kissing them. I was even trying to sleep with a few cousins that were female, right? Now, I did have Chris and me take a bath one time, right? And Chris tried to do something with me I never had done before with a boy, right? Twice. And Chris knew what he was doing, I didn't. Right. That means someone probably did it to him first, right? See what I mean? Right. Now, who's being the accuser of the brethren if they're calling their cousin gay and they're being the aggressor? The cousin. Right. Now, like I told you about the female cousin again, the way Mom had to kind of deal with it with him and to get us to slow dance and show I respond to females, right? Which is kind of, embarrassing, but made the point, right? The wood was hard. The wood rose. Yeah. The wood rose. But was it in position yet? Right? Before the dance, right? You know what I mean? Right? What they call soft, right? Now, none of my videos are for children. I know tricks were made for kids, right? And this is adult topics, right? But at the same time, you gotta have a filter, right, on YouTube to hear my stuff, right? And that's why I have little traffic right now. But when you tell the truth, people don't want to hear. That's to be expected, right?
This thing could happen to me. This thing could happen to me. So it's best that I be prepared for it. I don't like to be reactive. I like to be proactive. So.
And so proactively,
like I said, right? Right. Now, I've never picked on gay people either. You understand what I mean? Right? No, I don't. Right. Now, if I told you I heard a rumor, that's because the person I'm mentioning never told me they were gay themselves, right? So I can't say if they're gay or not if I don't know. Now, the female cousin, one of them went gay. And I know she did. Right? I just, again, ain't going to tell you which one, right? That's none of your business, right?
I've said it a bunch of times. They're gonna have to ban all
right.
So we're not gonna stop writing them. So
well, that's another thing, right? See, he's not just trying to help himself, but other gay people in the community, right? He's not the only one, by the way, right? But see, even a gay person wants to choose who they sleep with, retard, right? They don't want to sleep with Bubba, who's in the closet gay and wants to rape him. Right. No, he don't. No, he don't. And again, I know. If someone's is or isn't gay, right? I'm not saying they came out to me again, right? But I heard rumors. Instead of Playboy, he had Playgirl. Or men's magazines instead of female magazines. Now, my mom knows I had Playboy, not Playgirl. Right. I might have had a Hustler, right, which had both boys and girls or so, right? But trust me, I'm into the ladies, right? Now, once I tell you that, right, you're not getting crap out of me. You're not going to get it in your butt, and you're not getting it in my butt. We're going to fight. Death before dishonor, that's what that means, right? To me, it's something I don't want to do, so it's dishonorable to me, right? Even if you want to do it, I don't condemn you or judge you and say you're dishonorable to your feelings either, right? But I do know this, right? No means no to me, right? This ain't no, yes, no crap, right? No means yes, and yes means no, right? Like Jesus said, tell it like it is. Either let your yes be yes or your no be no, right? Otherwise, you're confusing yourself, right? And like I said, right? I don't know if it was the 2 witness thing with Sheena Johnson or the Bible studies or what, asking her to marry her so quick, right? Whatever it was, though, she didn't, see it the same way I did afterwards, right? And started talking about going to motel rooms with her or getting an apartment with her before we could get married and things like that. And then asking her, when I heard the voice talk about Jerusalem in my head 3 times, asking her to marry me in Jerusalem, even, right? Which is what Moses said to do about premarital sex, by the way. Not men today, right? But Moses 2,000 years ago, right? Or 3,500 years ago, right? Or his autobiographer, whatever, right? Now, so the question is...
School board meetings and headlines right now.
But I have been exposed to it, like I told you, right? Now, I ordered the sex book. It should be coming in pretty soon. Right. Mm-hmm. Like today or by the weekend, right. And I ordered it from Thrift Books, right. No, I don't need it, dummy, right. You don't need it, right. I know what to do with a woman, trust me, right. Not a man, a woman, right. I don't even do men like I told you, right, in the first place. If I got morning wood, I'm thinking of a woman, right? That's the problem with the shipmates, too. If I'm humping the bed shipmates, I'm thinking of women, not right. But there again, we're on a ship full of men, so that's why I carry around pictures of women, right. I'm trying to show you what I think of, right? You won't listen either, no. See, the problem is once people like them think you're gay to them, and they won't let up sometimes, right? That's the problem too, right?
Well, you print the books, write the book, publish the books, print the book, sell the book, put the books in the public library. But we're talking about a public school library again. And so on these issues where you do have explicit sexual content, and I want to be clear, that's what we're talking about here. If you haven't seen some of the books that are going to be discussed on the show today, please get them and look at them, audience. You need to see these things because I promise you, you will be shocked at the explicit sexual content that is being put into these libraries. I think the most concerning thing...
Well, the difference between gay sex and straight sex is the butt, right? Because you can't have sex with the butt with a woman, okay, right? So she's got two holes, but like I said, right? But then you want to adopt gay people, right? It's all hypocritical, right? You know what I mean, right? See, again, right? You don't want a baby with a woman, but you want to have sex with a man, but then adopt a baby with a surrogate woman, and that's the hypocrisy the Christians are talking about, right? You understand, right?
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. People wanted to ban that book. I remember, my mother may not want to know, sneaking under the covers, reading about this character whose body was going through what I was going through at that time, which was puberty, and learning from a book that adults, teachers, parents, some of them, didn't want me to read, and now it's considered a literary classic. So help me understand, Pam, your feelings, and perhaps even the feelings of...
But see, the children are just as curious about sex. And that's why I'm telling you, you don't tell the child I'm a paranoid schizophrenic and mentally ill and want sex with children without putting that in their head, right? That's worse for me, right, than if you said nothing to him, right, and just tell him I'm mentally ill and stay away from him, right? That would be better. But if you're telling them I'm paranoid schizophrenic and a pedophile, right, guess what you're telling them? He wants sex with children. Even if I'm not going out after them, right? They're thinking, oh, he has sex with children, right? But he seems like a nice guy, right? He don't seem to really go after me or anything, right? But I want sex with children, you're telling them, right? Okay, right. So, what would a child actually think if they wanted to experiment with sex? And I failed 3 stories as well. And they know I'm physically disabled and not sure if I can have a baby with a woman, right? What do you think the child's going to think? Well, if I have sex with him, I might not even get pregnant, right?
I was 11 or 12 years old, the first time I can remember fantasizing about having a penis. I was lying fully clothed on a hillside under an open sky. I held a folded handful of grass between my legs. Ma'am, are you reading from a book? Oh, absolutely. Okay. The book that's in our library. That's appropriate. There's young people in the audience. Of course it's appropriate. I have the rest of that book. I know that you checked the book out of the public library and you haven't given it back.
But is the point
But you talk about parental
that the person is transgendered and imagining they have a penis, right, and a girl, right?
Keeping it from parents who might be okay. So that's not giving autonomy to other parents.
Okay, I'd like to address that. I did make a book challenge. I didn't just remove it. I've met with the director on more than one occasion and spoke about it. I, have open.
But do you think your child's imagining they got a penis too and she's a girl? Right. Does that cause you fear, right? That your own child will think, well, I wish I had a penis and I'm a girl, right? I don't know. You tell me, right?
Was there should be a section in the library for these books that children can see with parental supervision. There is straight up pornography in here, and the reason it's not, if these were actual photographs, there could be a prosecution, I believe.
Well, then you can't read the Bible because it talks about David watching Bathsheba like a peeping Tom, bathing naked in her house, right?
It's not my children's business.
Which is probably walled, right? If you're in the city, right? Now the question is Bathsheba the only one purifying herself, or are there other women, right? But David took a liking to her as well. That's in your Bible. This man you call king, right, is watching this woman bathe naked in water. That's in your Bible. Next thing you know, you're going to ban the Bible for being too sexual. Hell, the Song of Solomon talks about kissing someone on the mouth and embracing someone, probably while doing so, huh? Right. You ain't read it, have you? No. You don't read the Song of Solomon. Why? It's a banned book in the Bible that they banned you from reading, because I never read it either while growing up, right? But it also talks about her sitting in his shadow and tasting his fruit. What is the fruit of the man? The penis, right? The woman don't have a fruit. She's the ground. You implant the seed into the ground, right? She's the earth, right? He's heaven, right?
Let's talk about my question.
He has the phallic symbol, and she has the opening that causes birth, right? When her egg, like a chicken, right, joins with the sperm of the rooster, and men, we're the rooster. They're the hen, they're the hen. And why that's in the Bible too. How often I would gather you as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, right? But you refused me, right? But you would not let me gather you together, right? You instead side with the evil one, right? And you critique each other to hell, right?
The Bible being read because it has adult content.
No, Tamron. Here's what's very important. Moms for Liberty is working very hard to help to get school board members elected across the country. And this is a political organization that every communication
organization.
We are a parental rights organization that supports parents getting more involved in their children's education. And so we want.
But education is education. Now, what should you really take away from the rape of Uriah's wife by David, right? Let's call it what it is.
Let me ask you real quick. Are you saying parents or some parents?
And the death of her child with him 7 days after it was born, right? That's kind of an abortion, right? To prevent the child from being circumcised even. Before on the 8th day, which is when you circumcise them, if you're a Jew, right?
And here's the thing, I think,
and why do all that, right? And then Jesus talks of Jezebel and her children dying, right? from her adulteries and fornications, right? As well. That's abortion, right? As well. I know it is. But you're too blinded by your self-righteousness, which is a sin. It's worse than adultery or fornication. Because even Satan's ministers think they're righteous. No wonder he can transform into an angel of light himself, right? He was one, right? He was the one of us we became as in Eden to know good and evil is, right? One of us isn't someone who isn't like us. Idiot. All. When God's saying let us go down, right? He's talking to the angels who can become human too, right? He's talking to the angels who sin in Genesis 6 as well. When he says us, he means all of us, right? Not some of us, even the hermaphrodites born through the sin, right? As androgynous as they once were, right?
We're talking to parents that don't look like us. Thank you both so much.
You've blinded yourself to the truth. Thanks to Emperor Constantine and the Orthodox, right? Who thinks God's a man. Well, your Bible says over 4 times it's not a man. And Job gets specific. For he is not a man as I am, right? So you're not listening to the Bible. You're making up your own fake beliefs, like they did in Jesus' day, and trying to tell the Messiah his role when it was basically just to die for your transgressions, right? And to help God save you, even if we destroy this planet over and over again, right? And God has to replenish it and refill it, starting with Eden again, right? You're creating a loop, by the way, when you do these things, right? A time loop, right? That has a beginning and an end, right? Even if you could travel back in time, how far do you know when it began, right? You're guessing when it began, right? You don't know. You weren't here. You don't know how fast or slow God can make things, right? That's another thing, right? Now, if God made it in 24 hours, 6 days, right, that would really blow your mind. But we know it's a little bit longer because Adam also lived 930 years. But even then, Peter and Moses said a day is as 1,000 years. Or as a night in the watch is as 1,000 years, right? After it has passed, right? Well, the day starts with the morning and ends at the following morning. That's what he means, right? In your Bible as well. Darkness does exist in some ways before the light, right? Why is enveloped within a light, right? Yet the universal light is life itself, right? Not just, again, the sun or the moon, right? Or the planets or the other suns in the solar system that also have planets around it, right? Now, the thing about erates, which is the Hebrew word for earth, right, is it does him with the T, right? Yes. It's kind of an odd word. That's kind of an odd word. Because we all need to talk about book banning and things like that, right? Not just Tamron. You got to take up the argument for the state you're in, right?
A 13-year-old black girl had allegedly been the target of racial attacks by multiple fellow students who used the N-word, something those students said they learned from reading, a required book that was part of the school's English curriculum. Nadra also discovered that during class, teachers were having passages from the book out loud.
The
including
dictionary my granddaddy had, the word Nigger, it says black, right?
Hear me cry, hear my cry.
Now, if I'm told that word means black too, and it said Portuguese, right?
Please welcome Nadra Oshik to the show. Thank you.
Right. Now, another thing I told you as well is
throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
These are classics.
Sure.
How do you explain that?
Well, the situation that we had in Burbank was because it was stemming from students. So it wasn't as if myself and these other parents said, hey, we don't want these books, but we had a history of kids actually making the complaints and being dismissed.
right.
And we had
But see, if I call you Negro,
committee form
but the Nigger word is more offensive to you, they both mean the same thing, right? Black.
And so what we actually asked for was a pause on the books.
So like with Huck Finn, the people who use the N-word are the villains in the book.
Right.
They are, so it teaches in context
Right.
the ugliness of the word and the destruction of slavery and the destruction of our culture.
Right.
So that's why I think people are wondering, by doing this, you're removing James Baldwin potentially, Alice Walker.
But you're also removing comedians, even African Americans who use it as well.
For one,
Or the rappers, they can't use it anymore either then, right?
but the other situation is
And see, black
what I would
people
say is
use the word on each other too, right? That's another problem, right?
that's coming home and saying,
See, you're trying to abolish a word. The word ain't the problem. If I say, how you doing, my N-word, am I being friendly or mean?
And then you go to
The attitude, right?
and they say, well,
Now, if I'm saying, nee, right?
Lessons that, so under that
You want,
teaching, for example,
it's
slavery.
how I say it, right?
Kids to
Right.
say, my grandfather owned your grandfather. So do we not teach slavery?
no, absolutely we teach it. But
But even Paul had to deal with slavery. But what did he say? Be kind to your slaves, right? Now, the people in the South were unkind. They were whipping them, they were beating them, right? And they were supposed to go free for that in Moses' law, right? Right. Uh-oh, someone's not reading their Bible. No, they're not. That's what it actually says. If you beat a slave, you were to set him free, right?
In context.
You had no reason to beat a man, right?
I believe that there probably is.
Now that sounds like someone who knew that side of slavery as well, right? And frowned on it, right? But he also knows men want to make other men work for them for cheap labor, which is what slavery is all about. Now, you might think a man, because he's from a hot climate, and like I was telling someone else earlier today, right? Here's how you're looking at it, fool, right?
I think those are two separate issues, right?
They're from a hot climate.
Deal with that because
Georgia's hot,
in hip hop, which by the way,
but it's not as hot in Africa. So they can handle it more than I can.
to teach people.
Let me bring the African over here,
How it's written about
him farm my land, right? I give him room and board and buy him for his from his country, because he should be able to handle the heat better than me, right? Right.
What you do is that you have some accountability for the students.
Now,
What are you teaching
another thing I tell you is evil triumphs when good people say nothing,
have any consequences for the
but
kids?
censorship helps no one, right?
She doesn't have value. And
it's how you use the word, right, that makes it mean or nice, right? If I'm talking to you, hey man, Nick, what's up, Nick? How you doing, Nick? Right. You know, it's how you use it, right?
Your active parents, just like I told the other parents.
That was the saying. You're a Nick. Right. No, right. You go to hell, Nick. Right. That's different usage.
Are y'all ready for
Right. Any word can be used nicely or angrily, right? And again, right? I ain't saying I didn't use it both ways sometimes, right? Not realizing the harm I was causing and the abuse I was taught myself. When your parents get on to you, you feel like you're being abused, period, right? Whenever you're doing something wrong, right? Because they're trying to teach you right from wrong, too. That's the point. We all have to have rules, though, right? Now, the rule in Eden is don't eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? That you would die if you ate of it, right? Unless you were never born. Never ate, or made by God, right? And all it might have been gay people is a little butt sex, right? Or straight people, right? But done to shame Adam, right? And hurt him, right? And he never did it before, right? See, the male can also eat of the fruit of the male, right? And the female, but she can get pregnant by the fruit of the male, right? Do you understand? The Bible don't use your wording, right? Your language. Now, we would call the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 3, a blowjob, right? In modern English, because she's talking about tasting his fruit with her mouth, right? Some even use mouth or palate, right? Well, that's what you taste with anyway, his fruit. That's because you're not reading it. But she's sitting in his shadow. When you sit, right, in front of someone, and they're standing up over you, what's in your face? Their crotch. Like I told you, if I'm sleeping on the couch and the child comes over to wake me up or something, her crotch is in my face. Why? That's about the height of the couch. Yeah. Most children are about couch height with their crotch so they can sit on the couch, right? It's lower for them and you to sit in, like this one here even, right? If I'm laying down like this, what